November 26th, year 2020. Human life is like a journey. For some, it feels like a journey upwards, climbing a mountain, desiring a peak. A peak that is known, but one has never reached it yet. So there is this deep, compelling reason that is pushing this person to walk up the hill. So this person is carrying a lot of weight. Certainly it's a journey, it's a long journey, so you must be equipped with stuff. You got to have things to consume on the way, to use on the way, and things that can come in handy in this journey. You certainly cannot just climb without carrying something and be prepared. For some, this journey is felt like a circular thing. You keep moving and you're coming to the same place again and again and again. It's more circular. Every day it's felt like coming back to the same old feeling about how life flows. But it's a journey. Every day, every month, every year, every 5 years' time, like, oh, familiar place. So some people have that sense of circular motion in the journey of life, and some other feels this is quite linear. It's the journey from one point to another, and every time you reach a new point, it's a completely new place. And because you are thinking that it is linear, you keep manifesting more of linear, direct, straight, distinctly separate feelings of life experiences, distinctly unique and different. So whatever it is, it's a journey. It feels like a journey, moving, going on, continuing. Until the moment of death, it certainly feels like eternal. So people carry a lot of weight during this journey of life. Whatever the 3 types of journeys I explained metaphorically to explain the kind of inner feelings people have about the way they live their life. So people carry weight. People feel tired, stressed out, anxious, worried, sad, frustrated. It's all about the weight they are carrying. A lot to carry, especially for someone who's carrying a lot. There's a lot to lose. A lot to lose. Therefore, for such a person, there will be loads of tension to keep continuing, keep maintaining, keep protecting, keep sustaining, because there's so much of weight. Now, there can be some other type of people. There's weight, but it feels weightless. There are stuff that they are carrying in the journey of life, including their physical body. But for something that they have done inside, within them, in their mind, they feel weightless at all times. They don't have that fear of losing all that. They climb up or walk easily, freely, most of the time. Of course, there comes a place for certain people that they continue the journey of life completely weightless. Now, the first place that a human being learns to carry weight is birth. Before birth, there was nothing. Like before birth, think about yourself. You were nothing. You were just nothing, no thing. Even before you came into the mother's womb and became a singular cell and then kept on multiplying, because you had the potential of becoming a fully fledged human being. Forget about human, because you get to know you're a human being only after birth and listening to those words. But let's say a lively being, a being, some sort of a being, a living thing, an organism, right? So before birth you were nothing, and then the first thing you accumulate is the body, the structure of the body, the form, the matter. So the first thing you carry as a weight as a human being is your physical body. Now that is exactly what we leave behind when we die, right? So when we say someone is dead, what we essentially mean is that this person who lived in this temple, this house, this vehicle, under the skin, or using the skin, in the bones, using the organs, this whole structure is now decomposing. It's collapsing. This person has decided to leave, departs the house, all right, vacates the house. So that's why, although many people fear death, usually for the one who's dying, it's a liberating experience. That's why people who have gone through near-death experience, only those who have come to the verge of death but didn't die, can come and say something about that experience. It's not fearful at all. It's not painful either, but for the one who's watching it, it may look like it's painful, but in that last moment when things has to be completely let loose, there's no resistance whatsoever. So the biggest thing that as a human being you learn to carry as a weight is your physical body. Now this is the first thing you learn to let go and feel weightless and light and peaceful. Like first you identify with your body and you think you are the body. This is the first thing you learn to let go in the path of enlightenment as well, that I am not the body. So when you come into that realization, that's a tremendous sense of liberation. So the body will go through what it is meant to go through naturally, say sicknesses, wounds, scratches, expansions like say extra weight or loss of weight. The molecules of the physical matter definitely will go through its own transformation, and like it will decay, new things will come up, and finally it will wobble to a level that it cannot hold itself in place. Now this is the first thing you learn to let go in the path of enlightenment. You realize I'm not the body. So suddenly in the journey of life, when you have come into this full-scale realization, I'm not the body, you feel so light in your body. Now that's a secret that most of the people who's connected to me, including my family, let's say the biological family and the spiritual family or friends, associates, the whole world, that's a secret that most of them don't know about me. But of course there's one person who knows about this. That is that I cannot remember a time like during, let's say, last 20 years. I cannot remember a time of like, I do remember, I'm not saying I don't remember, it's about I was not sleeping. So people would be so surprised. How did you survive? There are even theories saying, and some research findings confirming, a person needs so many hours of sleep, and they can't go on days like without having sleep, etc. But I don't know. I have accomplished so much over the last 20 plus years, but I did not sleep. I was awake. Now is this insomnia that people say? No, I never made it to a point to call it insomnia, because if I ever did, then I would have been in trouble. I would have, I don't know, maybe committed suicide because you don't sleep. I remember a few days here and there, a few days, life giving me that luxury of deep sleep, maybe deep sleep like death like experiences. So it was a case for me, like I would get the experience of sleep in very odd moments, and they are so brief. They are so brief that I cannot, unless I have timed it by setting up a clock or whatever. They were so brief, these moment of death or moment of deep, complete sleep where you don't exist at all. They were so brief, and they come spontaneously. I can't plan for it. Like usually people sleep, they plan, they are programmed, and they fall asleep, they wake up, they go to work, they do things, they again do the same thing. Now for me, those brief moments of complete loss of sense of self in the experience of death like sleep, they were spontaneous. They would come at different times of the day, and I go beyond time space reality. I don't even have any sense as to how long I've slept. But of course, when I wake up, I know what has been. I'm a conscious thereafter, and I'm aware what the activities or the environment had been. Therefore, I have some idea, relative idea, about the amount of so-called that moments of sleep I would have got. So some days it was just, and I know many of you will find it extremely difficult to believe this. Sometimes it was just like, let's say, 1 minute, 2 minutes, quick dips of complete loss, um, deep sleep. So I also remember, like when I was 18 years old, I was in Japan, and I got so exhausted with the travel and the jet lag, and I could not hold myself together any moment, and they provided me an opportunity to sleep in the sick room that we usually call sick room, okay, like restroom, and they were very luxury, comfortable beds. So I lost myself. Only time in my life I remember I was dead and gone and slept like a log. That's how you call, right? Slept like a log was that experience in Japan when I was 18 years old. And other than that, I can't remember any moment in my life that I say like, okay, I slept. So later, of course, as a little child, you sleep, and others think you're sleeping, but it was mostly that I was awake and my brain was active and doing many, many things. Of course, during the last, let's say, 2-3 years, all the research I do happens in that experience of resting time. Naturally, the norm is to go and rest in the bed, so I also do that, but the brain does the research work. Even once before during a discourse, I mentioned that for us to do research, we don't need to go out there and do experiments. We do close our eyes and then recognize and identify what's happening in the world just by closing our eyes. We get to know. It's a different way of finding the truth. The scientific approach is externally oriented. Our approach is totally inward. Now, So we were talking about life journey and experience of life journey, how it feels to different people, and the first identification or first sense of weight on the sense of self is the physical body, and that's the first thing also you let go when you go on the path of enlightenment. Whatever happens in the physical body, when you have realized this, you find it tremendously liberating, and you don't feel the body weight. Let's say you put on weight, etc., you don't feel that. So others might say you have put on and all that. You see the difference in your body. Maybe you look at the mirror and you recognize the shift, the transformation, differences, all that. You might even attend to that, like let's say providing some food, some vitamins, some medication, exercise, whatsoever. But that identification with the body is completely gone. You don't feel, it's like a cloud. You don't feel that you are the body. You are like more the essence of the body, and you can observe how it's happening. So that gives a tremendous power over your physical body, so to say. You begin to, this is how I learned to heal my own so-called sicknesses, but I don't even use the word sicknesses, I use the word symptoms. So when a certain symptoms appear, I can easily disintegrate and sort of resolve it, heal it, fix it if I choose to. Oh, let alone sometimes I just let it morph and change and transform, because everything is transient in the body, physical body. You really don't have to fix it. The fixation, the idea of fixing it, comes of the ideas or beliefs that was installed that I am the body, and also if something happens I have to fix it, it's a sickness, you have to be afraid, all that. Now, does this mean you don't feel comfort or discomfort in the body? Of course you feel all that. It's not a senseless state where the brain has gone wonky and you don't feel anything in the body. It's not that. You don't get identified so much with that. You are aloof, right? Comfort, discomfort, neutral sensations, you are aware. I mean, you have the complete freedom to adjust it if you want. So the next level of weight we accumulate as babies is after, let's say, the first 3 months or so. Of course, from the birth, but more categorically from, let's say, 3 months, 6 months onwards till age 10 or so. All the words we hear, the imprinting stage, right? So the psychological weight is now building up. So we develop something called personality, right? I'm so and so. I am a man. I'm a woman. I'm a human being. I'm black. I'm white. I'm Asian. I am this religious group. All that. So the next level of weight that gets accumulated into the sense of self is psychological. And that, my friends, is really a big weight. So that, depending on the kind of imprinting that happened during the early childhood, is what determines the type of life journey people take when they are grown up as adults. So at the beginning of this discourse, I said that people essentially feel three ways about their life journey. And now all that is usually sort of defined and imprinted and embedded in the subconscious of the person, so that we identify as the, let's say, early childhood period, and that kind of determine the trajectory, the way forward of life. So it's a very difficult process for people to let go of the mental identification, because that has created the identity so far now. Because you already bought into the belief, deep rooted existential, it's almost existential, right? That's why people are so afraid of sicknesses, so afraid of death, that I'm the body. That idea, I'm the body, right, makes you feel that although the body is totally mortal, you deep inside you are an immortal being. Like you can never be destroyed. You are, because you are nothing. But what is something can be destroyed. However, that because of the delusion, misunderstanding, you get identified with the body. There's a struggle, there's a pain, there's a tension. Say, even for so called enlightened ones, until they carry the physical structure, it's a pain, right? Karmically, they have accumulated that kind of body, that kind of molecule structure, which has the potential to create something. So now they know they are not the body, they know not, they are not the mind, they know they are not that so-called essence or spirit either. And knowing that I'm absolutely nothing, and they have liberated completely, like they have become immortal while living in the body. Before even death, they have died, and they have come into terms with that sense of self, right? It's they are liberated. That's why they are enlightened beings. Now, but still, if the body structure is continuing because of past karma, means past action, right, in terms of thoughts, words, and deeds, so that has energy, the potential to create, it's a weight even for an enlightened one. It's a hassle, right? It's not easy. But because they are free from it, they don't have a problem with it. But they will experience what everyone else is experiencing, but just that they will not make it a problem. So now the mental weight, one has to learn how to slowly let go. Ideally, people should learn to let go the accumulated mental weight every day. Then slowly you develop a level of awareness and mastery that you let go of accumulated mental weight every hour. And ideally, finally, you begin to let go of all thoughts, all mental activity, all mental weight, identification with the stuff that appears in your mind every moment. So you will connect with your breath, and you will just breathe, just see, just hear, just eat, just sleep, just being. And without any identification or accumulation of this, or carrying the mental weight. And that's so liberating. Your journey of life becomes weightless and free, and it can be very pleasurable. Now, let's say, be it the linear sense of journey, circular sense of journey of life, or climbing up the mountain, kind of wanting to accomplish something, taking up a big challenge and really not giving up, persevering until you hit a particular peak, whatever the way you feel about your journey of life. Now, this mental weight, as much as we call it mental weight, sometimes these thoughts, ideas, and concepts, essentially fundamentally words in your head. Okay, words, thoughts are words, right? There's a language. So whatever you carry as thoughts, as words, can be very handy, right? Can be useful. So that there can never be, now this is the last point I want to clarify during this discourse. Now, people might ask me, like, okay, what do you mean? Are you telling us like we can just not think anything and carry on in life, that there are no thoughts? No, there will always be thoughts as long as you have a brain, the so-called body, and your consciousness. I mean, you're alive. So as long as you have these three variables, you're gonna have thoughts running in your head. It's just that you will not get identified with those mental weight and carry it as a weight and making your life journey unpleasant, right? Difficult. You will have less and less problems, and finally no problem state, right? Having said that, in this journey, like say I am recording this audio, Now, I am using my thoughts, I'm using my words, I'm using my mind, I'm using my body to share this message. So, similarly, in the journey of life, whatever the way you feel, what matters is whatever the way you feel. At the end of the day, you want to be happy, you want to be free, you want to be content. So, what matters is how you feel. So, you can use the so-called mental weight without considering it as mental weight. You can use mental tools, you can use mental techniques, right? They are used as resources. Even so-called negative thoughts used as powerful tools to step into something better, like trash to treasure, right? You use this trash to make treasure. Okay, so it's important. There will never be a place called unless in samadhi state of samadhi, which naturally arise as a result of practicing meditation as a separate mental activity. And in that, the state of samadhi comes where one goes completely beyond mind, body, and the sense of awareness, completely free from it, right? And of course, afterwards, if there is enough karmic energy, the individual comes back to the structure, will be there to tell the world, okay, this is the truth about my existence. Now, there is a place where an enlightened one live always. That is a state of samadhi anyway. No matter what they do, no matter what they say, no matter what they do, be, say, have in situations, they are actually in a state of samadhi. An average person will not be even relate to what you mean, like, because in their head samadhi is like closed eyes, like a statue seated. No, that's what for the untrained person, untrained mind, that they're aspiring to be, but it's not. It's a spontaneous thing that comes. It's a brain activity, it's a chemical reaction in the body that makes the body to operate in a certain way, and one can sustain it for few days, maybe 7 days. Some have reported 13 days, likewise without food, without any water. It's only one state of samadhi. But for a fully enlightened person, they are in the sleep, in waking hours, doing anything, they are in a samadhi state, meaning they're not attached to or identified with whatsoever is happening. They are only an observer of their own physical or mental activity, because all that is also happening as a result of previous karmic force or previous energy that has potential to create. So, of course, as an enlightened teacher, you have the capacity to stop certain karmic influences. You have the capacity, but you also get to know there are things you really don't want to change, don't want to control. You know how the art of flowing through it, because nothing affects you. You're very clear about who you are, means absolutely nothing. So even if hell break loose, it doesn't really matter to an enlightened person, right? They live well even in hell. But for these unenlightened people, they live in hell even when they are in very so-called well situations. Even in heaven, they will make reasons to feel like they are in hell. All right, so with that, I wrap up today's discourse. I wish everyone peace and well-being.